right, guys, we're in Oregon and there's this weird stuff coming through the window. It's called sunshine. We don't get a lot of that in the Pacific Northwest, but check out what I do have today. This is the Velowave Ranger mountain bike style e-bike. It has front suspension, no back suspension. It has a 4-inch tire on the front and back. They are Kenda tires, which I appreciate. It does have a kickstand that I'm going to totally take off. And the battery comes in on the bottom. The charge port's down here. It has a lock key right here. Open and positionable shocks right here on the front. I do wish it had a rear shock. That would be nice if it was dual suspension for a lot of the trails we're going to ride on. But it's nice because it's very set up to be in that geometry of a mountain bike stance, which I appreciate. So when I get on it, I feel like I'm riding one of my mountain bikes. I mean, honestly, in this review, this is a review. So would I take this on a full out mountain bike trail where there's heavy rock gardens, things like that? Probably not, because with fat tires, it'll make your front tire bounce going through some of those rock gardens. But if you're a guy who rides on like light trail or medium trail, not a lot of rock gardens, this one's doing pretty good. It has like 5-star reviews. I think right now it's like $1,100 and about 150 reviews. And again, it's the Velowave Ranger. I think it looks pretty good. So to turn this bike on, all I have to do is hold on to the power button right here. It says welcome. It's going to take me to a super simple main screen, and you'll see miles per hour here. You'll see what gear you're in. You can go up or down, turn them off if you want to, all the way up to 5. You have your odometer here, how many miles you've ridden your bike. I rode mine 2.9 miles, and my battery right now is 100%. We also have front and back hydraulic brakes, and those are Logan brakes. And we have 7 speeds, adjustable and switchable from the front right-hand side of the handlebars right here. And you can see the number 4 right there. If I move it, it goes up to 5. And you can go backwards and forwards from that all the way up to 7. And in the back, controlling those gears, this is the cassette up here. And we do have a tourney derailleur holding that chain on, passing it up through the cassette. And I've been seeing a lot of bikes in like Best Buy and other places with the Kenda tires. And I reviewed some of these bikes with Kenda tires, and I feel like these are pretty good tires. I have seen them on a lot of popular e-bikes lately. And if you look a little closer, you can tell that I have 3 fenders on here. I have one here, one on the seat, and I have one up front to try to keep some of that rain and mud off me today. But I don't know if that's going to help, honestly, because it is super wet and mucky outside. Next time you see this bike, it's going to be totally covered in mud. But if you guys are looking for those types of things, you can get these off Amazon. They're called Mucky Nuts. They have the seat version one, which is pretty easily put on. It's like basically a couple zip ties on the seat, and then there's 4 zip ties on the back one here and 4 on the front. So they just come on and off as the seasons change. And I really like the Mucky Nuts style fenders for riding during the rainy season. That really helps us out a lot. But I say, let's go ahead and ride this thing now, because I really like the way it rides. It's a beautiful bike and just a lot of fun for me to ride. All right, guys, so we're going to start out on this wood chip track right here. And it's just a little short loop, but I just want to see how it feels in handling compared to some of the last e-bikes I've had. So again, I like that mountain bike stance that it has. Sort of lets me kind of lean over into the front tire a little more. Gives me a little more front tire control, which I like. And I don't feel like I'm going to slide out at all with the front tire on this type of trail. So again, this is just a quick park loop trail. And then we'll get on kind of our main trail going through and around through the woods. A little bit of extra speed there coming off that one. But the handling feels good. Feels locked in. And supposedly it goes up to 28 miles per hour on top speed on the road. So you don't have any problems like getting on the highway with it. Gonna test out the brakes. All right, stopping pretty quick. Front and back brake right there. So a little bit of clicking in gear 4 there. I'm just gonna switch to gear 5. Do a little bit of pedaling. Just like see how that feels.
And I can hear some clicking back there in my cassette. It seems like I'm kind of like maybe off a little bit. Let's go up to 7. See how that feels. A little more solid pedal. Switch back down to 4, 3. So let's go ahead and get on the trail now. And I'm gonna go ahead and gear down to like 1 maybe. It's super wet in here today. So I got like a push throttle on this bike. I'm just gonna give myself a little assist using some bike balance through here. There is a tiny little rock garden right here around this tree. And made it through that just fine. So I don't know if you watch my channel, but a while back we reviewed the Ancheer, little tiny like foldable kind of like commuter bike for short distances, and I rode that through the same trail. It's amazing how one bike to the next feels so different. But for where I live, this is perfect for these like light mountain bike trails. This feels good. I don't want to get too comfortable because that's when you make a mistake and fall down and do something stupid. I was coming through here at speed on one of my bikes a while ago, and I hit a rock with my pedal. We have some pretty big rocks through here. Just got to keep my eyes open for those. Here comes that rock now on my left. Hit that rock and Superman right through there. So right now I'm in gear 1, just cruising. Get a little more speed coming off the trail right here back onto this rock road. See how this feels? And there's a ton of mud through here. So this is where these fenders will come in handy. A little bit of water on the road. So I'm gonna go ahead and gear down to 0 when I come up to this stop sign right here, because I don't want to kind of assist myself into the road. I've done that before on e-bikes, not cool. So now I'm back up to 1. And I kind of wish there was a little bit of a twist throttle on this side, but this is where the shifter is on this side for the physical gears. But it's super solid feeling bike. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of speed through here. And I'm gonna kick up all kinds of mud on my back. Yeah, I can feel that motor just like sending it through here for sure. This feels great. My hands don't feel like they're vibrating at all. I'm just gonna keep going straight through here and get a little bit of speed. Oh, there's a big puddle. Just went through more standing water straight through here. The size of the tires also like make the bike feel more locked in. And I'm really feeling it because I was riding that small diameter little commuter foldable bike last week. This feels so good for my style of riding. And right now I'm just cruising in speed mode number 1. Trying to avoid like big stuff on the trail. And I'm pretty sure that it'll go up to like 18 miles an hour in gear mode 1. So yeah, that's something to know there if you're thinking about buying this bike. But look, I've already got mud all the way up to my waist, all over. It's going to be one of those days. If you go mountain biking, just make sure you're wearing some clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. A little bit of bike balance right there. And what I want to do is I want to see if it can go up this big hill over here. I've tested out the bikes on this hill. This is a great hill on my right for climbing and trying to see if the motor will get straight up this like 35% incline. It's super steep. That'd be a good test for this bike. When we come over here to the end of this trail, I'm gonna go ahead and gear up so like 4 or 5, and we'll see. It should make it up. Now, one thing that would be really worth, if you bought this bike, I would buy a drop post for it. You can get them on Amazon. So let's see. Oh, dead stop. All right, here we go. Dead stop up this hill. up the side of the mountain. But I would get a drop post for this bike for sure. And the drop post will just let you kind of get further down on the back seat if you're coming down. And the reason I thought about the drop post was because we have a steep incline to go down at the end of this loop right here. So also one thing to note about the bike is, like, if you're pushing on the throttle and you're in zero right there, zero gear for electronic speeds, the bike will still respond. It'll give you some throttle, which is kind of cool. So if you need a throttle, you're not actually in an E gear, it'll still give you a little bit of boost, which is cool. So there's a little bit of rock garden through here. Super wet again. Covered in mud today. Gotta watch out for those wet logs. The wet logs will definitely throw me on the ground. Had a little bit of tire go to the side right there. Lurched to the side. Just gonna try to get on my gear before I really start coming down this incline, get back on my CG here. Oh yeah, here come the rocks. And this is where I could use that drop post, because right now I'm on my pedals and my tires are definitely sliding in this wet trail. Felt my front and my back tire slide coming down that incline right there, standing on the pedals. So, you know, the tires aren't perfect. Definitely not like a true mountain bike for a true mountain bike trail, but I made it. I didn't slide down, didn't fall down. Definitely gets the blood flowing though. That's a lot of fun. But something I wouldn't attempt on like a lot of the commuter bikes we get on the channel. So we're gonna go ahead and take a spin around the neighborhood. Go up this hill right here. This is about a 35-degree hill. It's a pretty good one right here. Again though, good looking bike. Like, I feel like this bike, it doesn't, I don't know. I have this weird thing about e-bikes where I feel like they look like super nerdy, maybe because I came from like mountain biking and BMX in the 80s and 90s. I just want something to look cool, and I feel like this bike looks cool. I mean, it is. It's just a nice looking bike. You know, everybody has different standards of what they think looks cool, but I think it's a cool looking bike. So I'm gonna go ahead now, go up to gear 5 and just test out that gear 5. Feels pretty good. And we got that thumb throttle there, which is good because a lot of times when I have a full handlebar twist throttle, I've accidentally engaged it and that'll throw you off the bike on accident. So kind of that motorcycle style throttle, I'm not a big fan of that. I do like the thumb style throttle. So in gear 5, it almost throws me backwards off the seat a little bit. When I'm kind of riding with one hand, I let go. So it has pretty good like kick into the throttle for the assist, the pedal assist. Let's go back to the house now and let's talk about this bike. Like, let's give some honest feedback on this Velowave Ranger, because I definitely think it definitely has some pros and cons to it, and we'll talk about those.
All right, guys, check out the underside of the bike. This is where the battery comes out, and there's pretty good seal between the bike frame and the battery itself. It has this sort of lip that goes over here and kind of stops a lot of this mud and water from getting in there. So I did come home with it pretty wet, and everything is nice and sealed. I mean, it's just one of those days in this week. Like, we've had 6 days of rain. We've had over a couple inches of rain, and everything is still good here. All the electronics sealed up. Front suspension felt nice. The seat felt nice. I didn't feel like I had a lot of shock coming up from the back of the bike, which is good. And normally if you're riding a fat tire, if you've never had a fat tire bike before, you almost don't need rear suspension because of how much suspension a fat tire will give you on a bike seat. It's kind of crazy. Now, the front end, it is a little lower set, like a mountain bike is, you know? So it puts you in that kind of geometry, that type of stance that I like when I'm riding. I'm hunched over, kind of got more control on my front wheel for like those mountain bike trails and places where there's going to be a little bit of rock. So my advice to you, if you get this bike, I would stay off of trails where they're just like a true mountain bike trail, honestly, because with a fat tire and any type of rock that's say 4 or 5 inches, if you hit it at speed, like I did when I was on the descent coming down that big incline, I hit a rock and the front wheel kind of quickly moved to the side. And if you're not ready for that or experienced with that, it could kind of cause you to crash or kind of tip your front fork and maybe go down. Same thing with the back tire. I had the back tire slip out one time on me, just to be honest on this review. And that was just one thing that I noticed when we were riding on the trails at some decent speed coming down. But I think overall, though, it's a beautiful bike, and now it just needs a little bit of hose action. So bike is about to get hosed off, but I wanted to show you some of these accessories here that you get along with it. You get some instructions, you get a multi-tool as well as the charger. It charges up to about 2.5 amps. Get some extra spokes, front and back reflectors, which I didn't use because it's sort of a mountain bike. And I got 2 keys with it to unlock and lock the battery if you're traveling or you lock it up somewhere. And I also got a 10-watt front light, which goes straight onto the front fork. So you have some light options, but no rear brake light on this bike. And then you also get some extra Allen keys and some wrenches. So she's pretty cleaned off at this point, and yeah, I'm ready to ride again. I can go ahead and dry it off while I have it here. I just don't want to leave a whole lot of standing water on it. I really like to take care of my bikes and make sure they're clean when I finish using them off the trail. Same thing for my mountain bikes. I usually use some type of spray cleaner on them and wipe them down. You can use a brush, things like that, and it'll really keep, you know, the longevity of your bike. It'll last a lot longer. But again, this is like an aluminum frame, so it's not like a lot of the e-bikes out there that are like super heavy steel frame bikes. Even though this bike has a good size to it, it's an aluminum frame, which I do appreciate. And that's about good for this bike. I think it's a pretty nice looking bike. And it does want to fall over in the grass. One thing to consider. You can adjust the kickstand, I'm sure, kind of raise that up a little bit in the back. A lot of times they have an adjustment on the bottom end. This one doesn't appear. Oh, there's one adjustment point in the very back. So looks like there is a screw behind it. I could raise that up a little bit. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And it didn't feel scary on the trail. And that's the thing about a bike like this. It feels solid when you're riding it. Like you feel locked into it. And the feeling that it gave me was that I wanted to go faster. And that may be dangerous for some people because honestly, the faster you go, the harder you wipe out. But it does give you that feeling. And that's what's kind of cool about a good bike. So yeah, it's a good bike. It's $1,100 and it's about the same price as most e-bikes out there right now. But for this particular style, I just like this more. I love mountain bike style e-bikes. If you like e-bikes and stuff like that, please do subscribe to my channel because I've got more cool stuff coming up. I'm Justin Davis. Thanks for riding with me today. Velowave Ranger. Pretty sweet. See you on the next one.